TUFF SHIFT. Hello, world, and welcome to another episode of TUFF SHIFT, the podcast where we unpack all that goes into surviving the job and living the dream. I am your host, Sean Patrick, and by the time you're listening to this episode, I am just elbow deep in Thanksgiving preparation, and I hope you are too. However you're getting ready for Thanksgiving, this is one of my favorite times of the year. It is just like I've mentioned many times, the holiday season is just my joyful time for so many reasons. The songs, the movies, the cold crispness in the air, which in LA, believe it or not, it's fucking cold right now. It happens here. I was lied to. I was lied to when I was moving out to LA, but I'm here and I absolutely love it. And I love that I still get to carry on my tradition of making Thanksgiving. In New York, I did work a few Thanksgivings in restaurants, and I hated every fucking minute of it. Truly, just like, again, not to tell you something I haven't told you before or that you don't know, people are awful this time of year. And that's just an actual truth. And it got to a point where, I mean, there was one year where I was like, I don't want to work Thanksgiving, but I got scheduled and I was leaving to come home for Christmas, so I couldn't really like not have to work Thanksgiving. And then I was like, I need to get someone to cover my shift, which I did. And I had a friend who was like, hey, do you want to come to my family's place for Thanksgiving? And I was like, I have to work, but if not, I'd love to. And there's miscommunication. The day before, I got Thanksgiving off, and I reached out to my friend, and she's like, "Oh, actually, it's my parents aren't hosting, and it's at a family member's house. And since I didn't hear from you, there's no space for you." Okay, okay, and I was just like looking at the possibility of like, fuck, I could have worked. I could have worked. I should have worked. I shouldn't work. I don't want to work on Thanksgiving. I hate Thanksgiving as a server. And then roundabout ways, I was talking to a friend, and he was like, "Oh my God, come have Thanksgiving with me and my husband and my parents and my brother." And they live in Midtown, and so went over, had a beautiful Thanksgiving, very very gracious and generous. But it was also kind of like, man, these people do not eat like my family. Like they all had one serving. No one went back for seconds, and I was just like sitting there, like, when you're at a restaurant and you kind of like order based on what other people are ordering, like what is the price point we're going to, especially if someone is treating. I like to find like, oh, you're getting the chicken, you're getting the chicken, I'm gonna get the chicken. I'm not gonna get the lamb. I'm not gonna get the steak. So I was looking around at everyone's portion sizes, and I was like, "Hmm, cool, I guess I'm eating light tonight." And I did. And it was really just like, I mean, the food was good. It was really nice that they had me there. They asked me to sing a song afterwards, sang them a little song, really cute. And then it was like done. Like it was like very waspy. Is that offensive? To not just say like, but waspy, if you know, you know. And it's just like, I'm coming from these, like my big Irish family and my big Hispanic family, and literally and figuratively, and the amounts of food we put away and the amounts of food we put on that table, into our plates, into our stomachs, the wine, the everything, just like, whoa, people eat like this on Thanksgiving? I thought this was all a feast. And it was, again, so nice that they had me, and I'm so grateful. Appropriate. But it was one of those things I was like, oh man, I mean, I stopped by Rite Aid on the way home, and I just downed a pint of Ben and Jerry's, because like I need to be a glutton at some point today. That is what Thanksgiving is all about. And from that point on, I was like, I will never. I mean, I did have to work, I think, one more Thanksgiving after that. But after that, I was like, I'm never going to be without a home on Thanksgiving. And the best way I could make that happen was to create a home on Thanksgiving. And that's what I did. I just, my very first year cooking Thanksgiving, and I had my roommate Walker. His parents came into town, and they did their own little Thanksgiving, but they were there the night before watching me do my prep, and my If you've never cooked Thanksgiving, the first Thanksgiving is something that will drive you nuts because you are cooking a turkey and you don't want to kill it. It's not like cooking a chicken. It's a turkey. It's bigger, it's more prone to being dry, but also you can't undercook it because you'll kill people. And it's triggering. And then I'm brining it and then tying in this and then washing my hands and then putting another bag and washing it just in case. And every time I touch it, even though it's in a bag and it's safe and it's sealed, I'm just like, and I can't get salmonella all over the kitchen because I'm going to kill people. It was nuts. And so Walker's parents were there and his mom was kind of guiding me through her tips. And then I had my mom on the phone. I called my abuelita and I had all these three people. And for the next 24 hours was just getting on and off the phone with all of them about, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? And it turned out to be an amazing evening. The turkey was phenomenal, and all the food was too. And I got to really, I kind of have control issues, so I cooked mostly everything because also I have a gluten intolerance. So I was like, I don't want to have to make that your problem. So I'll make the cornbread, I'll make this, I'll make everything that would most likely have gluten in it. You bring dessert, you bring wine, because I don't really care about dessert. I care about the wine. But you add that, maybe a little cheese plate for people, and you keep people out of the kitchen, because if somebody comes in this kitchen one more goddamn time, there's a cheese plate out there. Go out there, let me cook. Anyways, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It was wonderful, and it started this beautiful tradition of cooking for Thanksgiving for all my friends in New York City, a way for us to gather when we couldn't be with our families that we're born into. We were together with the families that we created together, and just an experience that I love and adore. And when I moved out here to LA, I was like, oh my God, how do I get to take over Thanksgiving for Jeremy's family? Because I never really go home for Thanksgiving, because it's one of the things, I'm going to be there for a long time for Christmas, and to take that time off work again for the travel, it doesn't really work. So I don't go home for Thanksgiving. I stay here. So I was like, how do I take over Jeremy's family Thanksgiving? Only to find out that they are not really that interested in who cooks or how it cooks. And I was like, oh. And his grandmother loves it because she just loves, and we prepare it in her kitchen, and she just has this gorgeous house and this table that seats, we're going to have 17 this year, and it's just absolutely wonderful. And she loves the smells in the air and the fact that there's action in the kitchen. And I am getting ready. We started making our list yesterday, and by the time you're hearing this, uh, it's already been purchased, and we're prepping. By the time you're hearing this, I've already made my cornbread for the stuffing. And then today I'm going to be doing my cornbread for the service and just continuing to brine the turkey, making sure it's defrosted, all my favorite things. And I just hope that I don't kill my appetite, because what happens is when you're cooking and then you get there and you eat, and I make this giant plate, and then it's like, oh man, I can't. I'm gonna make it through it, but I can't make it through it. So I'm so happy, and I hope maybe this episode is a part of your Thanksgiving prep. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful time with whoever you're celebrating it with, and however you're celebrating it with. It's a great time to give thanks. It is the giving season, and this really kicks it off. And speaking of giving, because we're not, again, just going to be all about gratitude, we're going to talk some shit here. My The restaurant I work at is doing a canned food drive, which is absolutely wonderful. It is beautiful that they are doing it, but it's just for employees. They're not putting a canned food drive bin in the front of the restaurant and letting people know, hey, donate a can, donate canned food, and you'll get 10% off your bill. You'll get a free dessert. You'll get a free glass of wine, which would be great, because the whole point of them doing this canned food drive is because one of the things that is a part of their principles is to be a leader in the community and to contribute to the community that they are based in. And I think that is beautiful. I even took a test, because we have to know all their principles and the definition of how they live those principles. So I know what a good neighbor they want to be and just how wonderful. But part of that is that they just are messaging us incessantly about, don't forget about the canned food drive. Don't forget about the canned food drive. Just blowing up our phones. It's cool. Well, we can donate, but I also have my own neighborhood to donate to. I got to be a good neighbor in my neighborhood. And are you just doing this canned food drive for the staff that you don't necessarily always have family meal for, that you don't always necessarily give them what they need to get through the service, that you're constantly tearing apart of what they're not doing. Like, you create this low morale and then expect us to be in a place of giving and contributing and being part of your principle of community, because you have all these principles with your guest first, your community somewhere in the middle, and your team is the last. That's the last principle you talk about. That's telling. And it's the same thing. They do like beach cleanups. And it's like, come people, I'm going to volunteer my time on my day off to drive all the way to you where you are, so that way you can do a beach clean, which is a wonderful service, but it's something then you can use marketing to make yourselves look good off of our free labor. I'm not in a place to contribute to you guys. I'm not in a place to be a part of making you look good when you don't make us feel good. And you just keep sending us nonstop these messages about, don't forget about this and da da da. It's like, but why? I'm happy that it benefits people that it needs to benefit, but I'm not happy with it benefiting you. So if you are in a place where you are trying to make community in your business, or you're this and that, just remember, you can't create a sense of community with your staff if the morale is low and you're not making them feel like you value them. In the same way that you want to be a good neighbor to the community, to the city that you're in, that you don't want to be a good boss to the people you employ. All right? Charity starts at home. Take care of your people and then see how they stand up to take care of you. And that's a little holiday tip for any restaurant owners or managers that may be listening. If my managers are listening, I hope I win the lotto tonight. And with that being said, let's also talk about supporting artists this time of year. First and foremost, me. Yeah, your host. I'm going to be in San Francisco performing at Feinstein's at the Nico on December 21st at 5 p.m. It's a Sunday, kind of like a matinee, early show, whatever. My holiday, it's just me. I'm going to be in fishnets and sequins and platform heels, singing for the baby Jesus and all the other stuff going around this holiday. Very gay, very queer, very Christmas, very holiday, very joy. That's all it is. It's just a bunch of joy. It's my musical newsletter that I bring home to my friends and family every year in San Francisco, and the audience that we've been building for 13 years now. So get your tickets, because it will sell out, and I'm so happy for that. And thank you for making this show a part of your tradition. With all that being said, who else can we support? Well, our recent guest, Tim Connell. He is going to be at the Green Room the day after Thanksgiving. That's Friday, November 28th. So hopefully you're listening to this before then. And if you are, just know that you can save 25% by using the discount code TIM25. Seems simple, right? Just go to the Green Room 42, that's numerical 42, .venutix.com, and Tix is Tix. Again, another person bringing joy. Oh, the show is called Tis the Season, because it is the season. So go see, and if you miss it, he'll be back December 27th, same time, 7 p.m. at the Green Room, same show, bringing you cheer, because Christmas is not over. On the 25th, it goes on. So you want to hear his joy. He is just a natural, croony, dreamy, all the goodness. And then, making gift giving part of supporting an artist. My dear friend and recent guest, Jessica Raaum Foster, she has her neurology of presence, which I take as part of my ADHD, skill set building. And we do these morning brain boosters. It's a 15-minute check-in. And we do these weird exercises about like following a pen in a circle while standing on one foot, or she's saying you hold your hands out, and she say look at your left hand, you look at your left hand, you look at your right hand, and then she switches it and says, if I say right, you look at your left, and she says right, and you still look at your right, and like, oh, and you catch yourself. And it's these weird things that really, it unlocks so much. Look up neurology at presence. It is a gift to myself that I'm giving to myself, just getting this clarity, getting my nervous system in order for what I need. And, especially if you're working in hospitality, or somebody is, maybe giving them a month of this class, see how it impacts their life. That is Jessica Raaum Foster, Neurology at Presence. That will be below. And then a guest that we have coming up next week, Josh Bartier, will be performing in Anthony Fett's Gayer Than Christmas, his 10th anniversary show. featuring Josh Bartier, Cassandra Douglas, Kelvin Moon Lowe, and Lavinia Draper, all names in NYC, all headliners, all phenomenal talents. That's going to be Sunday, December 7th at 7 p.m. at the Triad Theater with Jason Wetzel as musical director. And the flyer also had like this beefcake and like a Santa hat and says, "And Santa." I'm like, "Oh, hey, hello, Santa. How you doing? Ho, ho, ho." So I don't know who that unnamed hunk is, but maybe he'll be there with his shirt off like he is in the poster. You can get tickets at anthonyfett.com, and Fett is Fett. That's all we got to talk about in promoting people and sharing the wealth and talking shit about restaurants and my joy of the holiday season. So let's not waste any more time getting to today's guest, who is somebody that I had the joy of meeting at the very first place, my very, very, very first job in LA. And, similar to Preston Scott Strauss, who we had on the show last year at the holiday season, talking about working in the holidays, he is somebody. Now, Preston was a little quicker. We had 2 days, and it was like literally my last 2 days working together, but we made an immediate bond. Today's guest, we worked a little longer. I actually trained him behind the bar and gave him all he needed to know about what he was walking into. Right? It's nice to forewarn people. It's nice to let people know, like, you make of it what you want. We'll talk about that. You make of it what you want, but this is just my experience. So I would do it this way. I would say this to that person, but not to this person. Just giving them a little more background information besides what's in the training manual, of which there was none. But just immediately bonded with him, and he texted me this week and was like, "Hey, I'm cleaning out the riffraff on my phone and saw your name," and I was like, "Oh no, am I the riffraff?" Which I am. But he's like, "And obviously you're a keeper." I'm like, "Well, goddamn, Christian, you're a keeper." Now, the thing about Christian, he is a chef, a creator, and the founder of Simpleton, an instinct-driven food and wellness brand rooted in curiosity, experimentation, and nourishment. He has worked in the culinary world behind in the back of house. He's worked as a bartender front of house. He's gone back and forth, and now he's created his own business as a private chef to bring you his amazing, phenomenal recipes. And you will look, I will have the link to his website below so you can just see the beautiful food porn that he puts up. And I can't wait to introduce you, because you'll just experience his joy as a person. Be like, I don't have a party to book, but I kind of want to throw a party so I can have Christian cater it. So without any further ado, please welcome my amazing friend and former co-worker, the one and only Christian Neal.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi.
welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I mean, it literally was like the universe is like, "Oh, you were meant to text me, and I was meant to be at my phone at that moment," because I was like, "Oh, we need to talk. It's the holiday season. People are cooking. Hopefully they can book you soon enough. If not, there's always Easter." But I was like, I need to sing your praises, because that's the whole point. I'm sure you've listened to every single episode since its inception, and I won't even ask. I'm going to assume. But just in case you haven't, the whole point of this show came to be because it's like, in my experience, in nearly over 20 years working in restaurants, I've worked with some truly phenomenal and talented human beings that just have to deal with so much shit, that are just being harassed by customers and managers and fellow coworkers and chefs and bussers and this and that, and even bussers, all of us. We put up with so much, and it's like, do you know how talented this person is? Do you know what they do outside of here? Do you know what they're here for, to create? And so I was like, let me waste no more time, and let's do this show to really talk about it and unpack. And so I'm so happy to have you here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, I loved the concept when you told me right away. I was like, and thinking of you and your personality, I was like, I have to do this because this is exactly how I thought it was gonna go, and I'm like absolutely blown away with everything about this. This is so exciting for
So
me.
far on brand. And of course, like I said, you've been listening since day one. Um, so I want to start, as I start every show. Christian, what was your gateway job into the beautiful revolving door and sometimes trap that is hospitality?
So yeah, well, that's a great question, actually. So my first job was I was a dishwasher at a cafe. It was a little cafe back in my hometown of Baltimore, Maryland. And yeah, I was my first ever entry to what everybody says is the amazing world of hospitality. And yeah, from that point on, I think I was like, what? I had to be like 17, 18, 17. So from that point on, I never looked back, you know?
That's amazing. You're not the first person that I'm always like, oh, all these people I know started as dishwashers, which I never expected, especially at such a young age, and especially because like dishwashing, dishwashers, they are building their stairway to paradise. That is such a rough job. You're just getting sprayed and touching gunk, and there's just so humid. I mean, it's good for the voice, huh? But it is just like it's when it's sticky and you're just always getting just moist. I know people don't like that word, moist, but it's
Ugh.
always like somewhat wet throughout the entire shift and just scraping people's food, and it's incessant. Like you clean, it's like you clean one thing and it's just, and they come back with another pile of plates, chefs with their pans, and you need to get those pans back to the chef. It is such a thankless job. And so like if you can do that job, you can do anything. It's amazing. A lot of chefs start like even when they're graduated from culinary school, the first place they're put on is dish. And obviously for like there's some humbling aspects to it, but it is also you
Yeah.
have to really appreciate what is going on in this restaurant around you. So how cool you started in dish, and we'll unpack all the other stuff that you got up. So in as far as either as a dishwasher, a
Yeah.
bartender, or
Yeah.
a chef, is
Yeah.
there a tough shift of all the tough shifts that really sticks out among the rest and you're like, oh, that day that you'd like to share with us?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. um, you know, there was a shift where I was, it had to be yeah, let's go with this one. There was a shift at a restaurant back near my hometown, um, where I was bartending. I think we've all had a job like this where you're bartender, you're server, your manager sometimes if your owner is scared enough is in the back. We had one of those where it's like our owner was in the back. Like, no, you, tell her you're the owner. We're role playing. You're the owner. You're the manager. I'm in the back. I'm not here. Whatever happens, I'm not
So
here.
Wizard of
You're like,
Oz.
exactly. Yes, very much that. And so it was Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, and our owner was one of those where it's like he never knew when to shut it off. We're like, hey, like have two call outs today. We don't have this runner. We don't have two of our busters. Like, I don't think that we should be going above, 300 reservations for the day. Like, we're kind of down staffed. He's like, no, no, we're fine. We gotta get him in here. It's super easy. It's gonna be we have a prefix menu. We have chepe. We have fran. Like, we're good. And we're like, oh my god, it's gonna be one of those days, right? Like, he's really going to try and suck all of the money out of people. He doesn't care. He's a big time grifter. Like, he's just going to try and get people in and out as fast as possible. So we're like just gearing up for what's about to come. And then I think so that realization comes about maybe like 2-3 days ahead of time. It finally gets to the day of, and he's been so excited about the whole thing since then. I walk in and he's like, "Hey, did you hear about the books?" I'm like, "No, what's going on?" He's like, 600 people. You're like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not even real. Like, we're gonna be open from noon till I think we were closing at that time around 11 o'clock. So noon to 11 o'clock, 600 people, one break in the middle of the day. Spoiler alert, we didn't get that break. There was no break in the middle of the day. It is packed in, And we're feeling good. We're like, just put your head down and go. Just put your head down. It's only one day. It can only be so bad. And it gets to a point where you're like, um, you can only do what you can do, right? Like
Yeah.
I can
You have
only
to surrender.
do right, exactly. And that is your gospel for Valentine's Day. That is like surrender. I have to surrender. And yeah, so we get to the point of the night where people are rolling in. Hey, where's my table? No worries, it's gonna be ready in just a couple more minutes, 30 more minutes, 50 more minutes, an hour and a half. It's just gonna be, I'm so sorry. I know you put in the reservation a week ago, but your table is not ready, and we probably won't have another one for another hour and a half. An hour and a half? Is ridiculous. So it's like it gets to the point where yeah, we don't have tables for anyone. We ran out of food.
As you
We
do.
ran out of food, as you do at a restaurant. Ran out of the food. Okay, right. Um, People are like, I had one table that was. We had a full dining room. Like people were, and this is, mind you, this is. I didn't even mention this. This is during COVID. So
600 people during COVID?
I'm glad we don't name names on this show.
That is not real.
People are shoulder to shoulder during, like, I think this had to be like, because Baltimore wasn't fully reopened yet, but it was like Baltimore County was able to have people, Baltimore City was not. So that was still a time where obviously social distancing was still required in all places. We had people that did not know each other. Like it was like it was like your at home dining room table. Like people were elbow to elbow
That
eating.
makes me so uncomfortable.
It was insane. It was crazy. People were like, "Aren't we supposed to be social distancing?" And you were like, "I don't know. I'm supposed to be releasing. Remember, like I don't know what to tell you."
I also need people to realize, listeners, to know 300 is a lot. Not even getting
300
to
is
the 600. Like I've done, I worked at a brunch spot, which brunch is a different service. And we did at one point 700 in one day. It's a long day. It's grueling. Brunch is a little quicker of a turn. Valentine's Day, again, like we spoke last week on the show, this is everyone's personal holiday. Nobody else in here is in love. Nobody else in here is celebrating the same
yes.
thing. They just happen to be here. So this is where people sit. They take long, and it's an awful service. And restaurants always overbook, and it's just like, what are we gonna do? Like the last place I was at, we had, I think, like 500, and like they wanted to have like rose folded napkins, so like we had to do all those napkin folds, and it was just like a shit show. And I mean, I was like, how are we going to do that? And I walked into work, and they had put in like 30 more tables, because this is like a big like outdoor patio type venue, and so
Yeah.
outdoors in February, and just like all it was just nuts. And it's like, you don't have the infrastructure. The place that we worked at together, I don't think you were
Yes.
there when they did Valentine's Day. Maybe
No.
you, no. So they did. Now this place was a machine. Well oiled? No. But as every restaurant is a machine, but definitely not well oiled, and not in a place to make promises that their asses couldn't cash, I believe the children say. And they had like 200, which is really not that much, but for a place like this that had two different small kitchens of things coming out at different times, and just not enough. And they loaded again the floor with more tables, and it's like, how are we going to get around? And it was actually the hostess, who was the maitre d', who was sometimes like in a different planet and didn't really know how to do her job, yet she was in the tip pool at the same rate as all the bartenders and waiters, and she made everyone's job harder. Who is like, she literally is like Mother Earth on some planet, never a negative word to say. When she heard that we were doing 200, and she looked, she's like, 200 covers. And they're like, yeah. And she goes, well, that's 200 disappointed people. And I was like, whoa, whoa,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
talk, you can tell truths. And long story short, the 200 disappointed people, because that place was just not meant for that. Which, let's talk about, do you have anything you'd like to share about your observations of the place we worked together? Because I know when
Ugh.
I started, and it's all these things that they said they wanted to do and become, and they were like, "What's your opinion? What's your thought on this? What do you think about blah blah blah?" And like, I always, if you ask my opinion, I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to give it to you very professionally. I'm like, and I will also give you my creative heart, because I'm
Mhm,
give everyone starts with a balance in the bank, and I'm going to just
mhm.
assume your account is padded, and then little by little, there are deductions because you ask for this and then you do the opposite. You don't listen, you still continue. And when things go wrong, like, how could we have avoided that? And I was like, cool. So now you're in overdraft with me and I have nothing to offer you. And when you came in, fresh faced and lovely, as people can see right now, just like how friendly you are and cool, we'll make it work. And then they wanted to do, they were beer and wine only because that was their license. And then they were like, oh, now we're going to do a full bar. And if you were to look at the bar, just for context for the listeners, there was like, we didn't have enough glassware for the wine and the like mocktaily wine cocktails that we made. We didn't have enough glassware for that. And now we got to get like Collins glasses. We got to get rocks glasses. We got to get double old fashioned. We got to get all these to put in here because you made it for looks, not on function. The bar was set up for look. There wasn't a sink behind the bar. There was no drain. We had under our ice bins, we had buckets to catch the water because there was no plumbing behind the bar. So many things that they
Yes.
had to fix. And before they fixed that, oh, and there was a ham carver behind the bar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They
A
carved
whole other person
Spanish
who
ham.
wasn't. Yeah.
And it was just like always in the way. And people were all like, I'm not sure about you, but as a bartender, me, it's like, get the fuck out of my bar. I know you're the owner, but get the fuck out of my, what are you doing here? Not saying
What are you doing
behind,
here?
running into me, all the, like, no. So, and you came in and you gave them your creativity heart. You gave them
I did.
your experience. So how did that work out?
I feel like you already know the answer to this, Sean. I'm like, yeah, that was exactly, and exactly, I'm the same way. I think we definitely relate on that, where it's like I come in with a full heart. I want to help you, and honestly, I don't ask for much in return, just for respect and recognition from you, the sole person that is asking me for the advice. And
Yeah.
I think that. Yeah, you tell them what you really feel, and they don't respect it. They don't. If it's not what they want to hear, then it's not. Then it's almost like that, like I'm hurting them or something like that, or like why would you? Well, either that or they're not trying to hear it at all. It's like I didn't say anything. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, like how can we avoid this? You're like, well, what? Like, didn't I just tell you how we could have avoided this? You didn't even recognize taking no accountability for
Accountability.
that. Yeah, you
I
know.
think the owner had like she did have really great ideas and artistic goals, but it's also kind of like, hey, I got ADHD too, and I got all this stuff, but like you need to rein it in and have somebody, and there was nobody there. So then I became the bitch because I was the only one
Yeah.
being like, you need to rein it because the general manager, God bless him, was not an authority. He was not type A,
No.
he was not type B, he was type Z. He was just a lovely human being, but like
Yeah.
I'd have to be like, "Oh, you need to go talk to that table." He's like, "Oh, what?" And it's like, "No, no, you're the manager. You need to deal with this situation, not me." Because there was a time, and we talked about it on here, that they left me in charge on their way out the door. Oh,
Oh
and by the way,
yes,
you
yes,
can manage. And I was like, and that happened 3 times. And on the third
yeah.
time, we had a little sit down and I read them the riot act. And again, after that, nothing changed. And so, like me, how I feel with the Catholic Church, I can't change you. I can only change my relationship to you. And that's outside. So I got out. And I know you because like, they really did do a lot of great things. And, as I mentioned at the top of the show, the place that I work now, wonderful. You're doing a canned food drive. That's so Lovely. But you're basing it all on your workers' contributions. What are you contributing? Why aren't you getting your guests
Yes.
to contribute? It's all on us. And like I had a coworker yesterday, she's like, the canned food in my pantry is what I need to eat. Like I like why aren't they giving me canned food? And it's like, but this place actually did. She did wonderful community things. I know I wasn't working there when the fires happened, but I am sure she showed up because she did a lot. She did a lot of women empowerment, a lot of
Right.
volunteer. She did a lot of great stuff, but also like at our expense because we were all one big tippled house. So she'd have like people coming in to work these events to prep, and it's like, are they in our tip pool?
Right.
Like the hostess who was always doing everything, and it's like she's here for 8 fucking hours
Right.
and she's getting this. So that was my thing with them. It's like they just have these wonderful ideas, but nobody really leading the ship. Hey there, just checking in. I hope you're enjoying this episode so far. And if you are, why not leave us a 5-star review and a comment or two wherever you're listening to this from? And don't forget to follow us on social media at TUFF SHIFT Podcast. That's TUFF Shift Podcast. Everywhere, literally everywhere. And just a reminder, gratuity's not included, but tips are always welcome. And you can find our virtual tip jar at tuffshiftpodcast.com. That's TUFF Shift Podcast.com. All right, back to the show. And I'm not sure after I left. How long did you stay after I left?
So I think I definitely stayed. I definitely was there for a year.
Okay.
About I was there for a year, and I think maybe you left like a couple like months in to me being there. Maybe 3 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
I think maybe. So I think yes, so maybe 7 months after you left.
And
Yeah.
did things pick up in, because my thing is like wonderful menu, wonderful concept, wonderful people, maybe not the best bosses and coworkers.
Yes.
Because there was always like a lot
Right.
of drama in the kitchen.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we had a bunch. I think our chef at the time, I think like they had a whole spat because it was very. She was, you can say I'm Sean. You're nicer than me, maybe in some aspects, but I like after getting to know people, I'm like I'm gonna tell it how it is. I'm like you're verbally abusive. You're an abuser.
I know which one you're
Um,
talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, the chef and owner is verbally abusive, and um, you have a lot of yes men on your team because you are an abuser, and of course, like that's what you look for, and so people that are complicit in the abuse of others is ideal if you're in
Yeah.
that type of power dynamic, and that's exactly what she got. Um, Especially given the history of that one said manager that you had being from this, another infamous restaurant in New York that was known for a huge scandal around abuse.
Wait,
Yes,
how do I not know what? Which one? What? You can
yes.
text me. Oh my God, he worked at a place that I don't know about?
Yes, a whole documentary series about it.
Well,
Yeah.
since it's a documentary series, what was the name of the documentary?
Oh my gosh, I forget. It was
Okay.
about yes, it was about a very big chef who had a infamous incident there that kind of blew the whole thing up. And they were a hostess there and knew a lot about that situation apparently.
I am shocked that I know everything about everybody. Like I say, I could walk into a restaurant and I'll tell you who's who and what's what in 5 minutes. And that part I did not know.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely. And it
oof.
just goes to show you that it's like, yes, it is a old guard of people who hold a certain view of this industry that I think is kind of becoming outdated. And they view it as, they view people's roles as, stepping stones. Like we are stepping stones for them to get to where they need to go. and you know, we should be grateful. And if we can't handle it, then it's our fault. If we don't like being, we don't call it abuse. It's just the hospitality industry. It's just restaurants, and you're like, it doesn't have to be.
Like, and you can get, like, if you invest in your people, see how they show up for you. See how many canned foods they bring in. The fact that they don't even think like, I don't have a pot to piss in, but I'm so inspired by the goodwill you create here that I want to be a part of it. And that was my thing with this place too, where it's just like, I don't want to be a part of this. You actually are doing great things that I respect. I respect the way that you're contributing to certain things, but like, what about us? And why is everything like when we're telling you what's not working and you just keep piling on more work, and then people turn on each other? And so we really didn't have any bussers. We like our runners were bussers, and then they were upset because they weren't bussers but they were being spoken to. And there were some people, and I'm just going to say this, and I've said it before, because some people look at me and assume a certain thing about me. They think they can talk to me a certain way about certain people, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, you actually know I'm Latino too, right? You
yeah,
actually, yeah,
yeah,
and I got cousins that look like that person you're talking shit about and talking down to. Like,
yeah.
so I hear a lot of things because people think they're in good company. And just so then people are turning on each other. And that was another thing for me where it's like, so I have to like listen to this crazy, I'll just say waspy because I don't want to get censored, lady. I don't want to say a word that seems to trigger censors where it's like, it's just a descriptor, but
Yeah.
very sensitive. YT. But very like, and then now I'm also the therapist for this busser runner, this line cook who's just like, I can't believe they. I'm like, listen, I get it because culturally, I can speak to where they're offended and why they're offended, and this and so it's like, so then I'm like this liaison between all this, and that place was just like it was ripe with it. It was ripe with it, and I'm not sure if you remember, there was one busser there who was from the same place that the owner was from, uh,
Hmm.
and very blonde hair, blue eyes, my
Yeah.
complexion, didn't do shit
No,
and was
no,
treated like a crown prince. Like he was supposed to be a busser. And he always like hung out in the kitchen doing running things. And it's like, no, no, baby, you're supposed to do a busser. You're supposed to
no.
be a bus. And like, and my thing is like, he'd always be like, oh, you already got the busman. I'm like, your goal today is to beat me because I can't wait for you, and you work like me, baby. That blonde hair and blue eye act. I mean, he was pretty, but that's not going to work for the rest of your life. And you are literally cashing in on an outdated check. Like society is changing. We're not playing that game, but it in that place, those things were held true, and it just oh. Okay, I want to talk to you about one more thing, and then we can like not talk about that place because
Oh no, for sure. Because that's honestly the reason why I ended up having to leave that place.
and which is sometimes it's like mother necessity. It's like the need to leave is really strong, and it gets us. It's like unfortunate that it took there because like it would have been like the money was actually decent. The money was decent. It was pretty consistent, but just the stuff you had to put up with it just wasn't worth it, and that's why I had to leave. But I want to talk to you. The one thing that really bothered me about that place, we've talked about on here before, that just because you're a regular doesn't mean you're a favorite. And we had one regular in particular, and I just want to ask, like, you know, you can say his name. You don't have to say his name. I doubt he's listening to me. But would you like to explain this regular for our guests? Because I don't think I've ever spoken about him. Because I'm like creating a monologue about him. So I'm not sure that I've ever shared this regular. So would you describe for our listeners who the hell I am talking about?
Yes, yes, yes. So we had an older regular who would like to come in and sit at the end of our bar. He was a big crossword man. And he would treat the bar kind of as like, he would come in and say, hey, Sean. Now, Sean was his favorite. Now,
Why? Why?
even me thinking about it, it took him, even after you left, it was never quite the same with me. It was always like a buddy buddy with me.
I
And
ghosted him.
like maybe he would offer to bring me something every night, like if it came up. but he would go out of his way to bring you stuff. He would come. He was not even asking. He's bringing it to you. He's bringing it. I got this extra pizza here. I don't
And I'm
know.
like, I'm allergic to gluten.
You know, like, is Sean here? You're like, I don't know. Let me find him, bud. Let me see if he's in the back. He was. You're definitely in the back, and you saw him. You could probably you smelled him coming from down the block, maybe,
I
and you were
mean,
like, you know, he would
here
do his
comes the brown
round.
velour suit. He is always in that brown velour suit.
Yeah,
I mean, also too, like, I mean, savings goals, like financially, like that man, like looked like he did not have a pot to piss in, but like he had money. That
he
man
had
had
money.
money. Like he could, and like his whole thing was he would drink every day throughout the day. And he's like, I wish you guys were open because I would just spend more time here. And so he would do his stops in Santa Monica. I'm not sure if you knew that, but he had these
Yeah,
stops that he would go to. And we were usually the last one. And the thing was, he'd always order like one or two beers because we were the last one and he'd nurse it. He's one of the people that thought he was a part of the team. But then when you
yeah,
had to, like, my thing was like, okay, if you're part of the team, you know that I need to go. You know that I need to
right.
do these other things. He just wanted all the attention. And like, I think when we started, gratuity was built in, and then at one point they took that away, and he'd always be like, you know, you always know I'm leaving extra, and it'd be like 83 cents, 26 cents, rounding it up, because, and it's like, I mean, that is still more than 20% because it's
Right.
already included, but also like, and then you had to like, you always had to buy a beer back, which I'm like, yes, you should, which as a bartender buybacks are important, but it was just the level of entitlement and lack of awareness. He would crash other people's conversations, and it's
Oh,
like,
wow. Yes.
dude, they're not here for you. And then he'd be like judging people and kind of like making fun of them. And they're like, I think that old man is making fun of me. And it's like, geez. And so then you have to be like the John Wick. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going back to childhood where I'm like putting out all these fires of these emotionally unavailable adults around me. Like,
Yeah.
and I had to take care of his. And it's like, how do you not know how to not behave like that? And I ghosted him. Like, I didn't tell, because I'm like, I don't want him following me. I don't, and
Right.
he's like, we got to get drinks sometime, and we got to, and like he'd have friends come in, but they were like bar friends, so sometimes they were like really close, and sometimes they'd sit at opposite ends of the bar, and he'd be upset that like on a Saturday or Sunday they had, not Sunday, Fridays and Saturdays they limited his time there. He's like, I can't believe it. It's like, if you really love this place and you really want us to be successful, then get the fuck out. Because we need to,
Yeah.
you're not buying the Spanish ham. You're not buying the food. You get like the potato salad when we had it. And then he was beside himself when we took it off. And it was just like, yeah, he was rough, and he'd kind of be a little mean too if he was like feeling it that day. Right? Did you
Yeah.
experience that?
I definitely yeah, maybe he was a little more melancholy when you left. You know, I think maybe he had a little bit more room to say maybe things that he wanted to say. I think because he like maybe he didn't because I didn't give him the same. You know, I'm just not as theatrical as you can be. I'd be like anybody can fall in
It's
love with you.
It's not theatrical. It is the fact that I worry too much about people. Like, even I don't like him, but I'm like, I have to be here because like he needs my healing vibes. And it's just like,
Yeah.
you do not have to heal the world. All right. This is not 1995 Michael Jackson, heal the world, make it a better place. Like, we don't need to sing that song to everyone we meet. But yeah,
Right.
he was just, and was he there all the way through the time you
Yeah.
left? He just kept
He was
coming
there all the way
regularly?
through, but then they started being mean to him. It got to a point where one of the yes men was like, "Isn't he a little stinky? Like, I don't think like I think you should like when John comes. Well, whoops, when he comes in, like go ahead and like I don't want you to pay any attention to him. Like after if he's not buying anything, I don't want you to look at him. I don't want you to go to that side of the bar. I don't want you to do this, that, and the third. And you're like." Wow, you're like not only like both y'all are a little shady. Like I was like,
Yeah.
everybody's
But
showing their true colors now. When it started to get really slow, is when the colors started to come out. You
yeah.
know, you're like, woo.
Hello, San Francisco. It is that time of year. We are spreading a little Christmas cheer at Feinstein's at the Nico. on December 21st at 5 p.m. for the 13th installment of Holiday Test Drive. This year is all about sparkle and joy and being fabulous and all the beautiful things about the holidays to get you in the holiday spirit. So get your tickets today. I am joined again by the one and only, the fabulous Aaron Allen at the piano, and we've got a great show. We've got some stories that you love to hear. We got some new stories. We got some new arrangements and a brand new song. A song written specifically for this show's theme, which this year is Sparkle and Joy, written by my friend and collaborator, G. Enrique and Justin Anthony Long. I cannot wait to learn it, and I can't wait to debut it with all of you in San Francisco. So get your tickets today at feinsteinsSF.com. That's December 21st at 5 p.m. We'll see you there. And I mean, they weren't wrong, but there's better ways to deal with it. Because it's like for an $8 beer for a $16 tab, and you're there for occupying on a busy night, and you keep telling us how we should be doing things,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
asking questions, and then when you answer them, he's like, "Well, actually," and it's like, "Well, why the fuck did you ask me?" He wanted to engage, and I feel bad because like we really were his home. And
Yeah.
and it's that thing where it's like I feel bad talking shit about him, but like he caused, I mean, this mutual reaction, like when we bring him up, like that comes up. So like I
It's
guess,
stressful.
yeah, it's stressful, and it's like sad. Like I just feel like I feel sad for him. And I guess it's also like a cautionary tale of like, again, how to not behave in restaurants, and also unpacking that like just because you're a regular, because there's this thing going around social media, and it's like all these like bar things, and it's like this meme, and it's like science studies show that being a regular in a bar is boosts your mental health and boosts your da 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 da. And I'm like, not for the bartender. Like,
Yeah, not for me at all, unless you like, or unless you're tipping.
I'm not
Like,
I'm not sure how you feel, but like for me, I even with performing sometimes, I'm like, I would rather just assume or know that it's an audience full of strangers. In the same way, like
mhm.
when I get overwhelmed when it's like repeat customers, because I'm like, I was in such a space to give you like beyond what I should have given you as far as attention. And today I don't have it. And you're coming back with your mother-in-law, your best friend, and be like, oh, this is so and so, and he's so amazing. It's like I'm deep in tickets, and I don't have it.
You're gonna get a different version. I like regulars who are that are cool regular people that are good at being regulars. They understand the what's going on. They understand that this is service and that I might not be in the same place that I was then. I think the best regulars are great customers in general as
Yes.
people that understand that I'm a person, that you should be respecting me, and I'm going to give you that same respect back. You're not expecting me to go above and beyond, and I think that when I can go above and beyond for you, I will. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah, because there is value to regulars coming in, because like that's consistent money that the restaurant needs, and that means that's consistent shifts that I can get. But I think to your point is understanding, because we always talk about this, hospitality is a beautiful balance of making someone feel like in their home, but also transactional at the end of the day, which is
Australia.
why Homeboy had to be out after a certain time, because like you're not buying, and you're making guests feel uncomfortable, and you're making staff feel uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
it wasn't about our comfort level, it was about their money when they got involved. All right, we're going to put that place to bed. And I want to know, since we are in the holiday season, are you excited about cooking Thanksgiving? Are you cooking Thanksgiving for yourself? Are you cooking it for a client? How are you dealing with the holiday?
So I will be back home for the holidays. I'll be back in Baltimore. I'll be with my parents. My dad's gonna have a surgery soon, so I'll be back home helping my mom prepare something for
Yeah.
just the close knit family. My grandmother's staying with them now. Also, she's gotten up there, so I think it'll be a nice time. Just a small batch of stuffing, a little turkey, some sweet potatoes, macaroni and cheese, sauerkraut. We do sauerkraut there because of
Okay.
like the Dutch Pennsylvania type aspect of it all. So yeah, it'll be a nice time. I'm always excited for the holiday season. Especially, I think Thanksgiving dinner is better than Christmas, but you know.
Now, are you the cook, or is there somebody else in your family that like, that's where you got it from?
So yeah, I am not the cook for a holiday dinner. That is all. I feel like that's like the matriarch of the family and our where we're coming from. So it used to be my grandmother. My grandmother has now relinquished that to my mother, and then I guess eventually it will be me who does the cooking because I don't have any sisters, and yeah, I'm the only one out of all the cousins that's actually a good that actually cooks. Period.
So, I mean, that's wonderful too because you get a night off, and then you get people like, oh, you get to cook for me. So, is this where you learned your love of cooking, and is that how you kind of transitioned that into this career path for yourself? How did you find yourself as like from dishwasher to chef?
So that was actually yes. When you look at it, I think it was a lot of I came up in a at a time I was the last. I was the baby of the family, and I think most people were much older than me, so I didn't really have only had stories of gatherings as they used to be with a full family, a full extended family, and I think that left a desire for me to always
Mm,
want to have a larger family, and then around that same time as I'm getting out of high school and into the workforce, you have Chef's Table and Vice Munchies coming out, showing this underground world of these cowboys in the back of house that are like artists, but they're also like hardworking and like drinking and partying and have this like big sense of ego and pride about what they're doing and like counterculture. I was really into punk music at the time and like going against the grain. So it was all that culmination of like desires in my past. And I was like, I think that I want to see what it is. I want to dive right in. I want to, see what's going on back here. And yeah, so that was the original jump. I remember back then, like cooking things like waffles for my friends. My mom had a that was a tradition. My mom had a family recipe for homemade waffles that she would make for me
mm.
and me and my brother since we were young. And my dad would always be like, "She's the only woman that'll still do something like this." Like, so you better learn how to do it. And so I'm carrying on the recipe and sharing it with people, and they're like, "I can't believe that you make waffles by hand. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing." And so you really get a sense for like how special this is to people and how much of a
Mm.
lost art it really is to take the time out of your day, especially in this new like age of technology and everything is so quick and fast to really make something and you can taste the difference. You can taste how
Mm.
different it is. And I think that really struck me. Aside from anything else, is that it's nourishment and it fills you up and it gives you energy to do active things, which I love to do, and you can taste it. It changed my life. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was my first introduction to at that age. I think I had to dive in and make a decision, and I was like, I want to open a restaurant. I want to be a chef. And yeah, they were like, well, you better start washing dishes. And I was like, okay.
Oh, here we go. That's wonderful. And
Yeah.
truth to what you said, like when I learned to cook and I was inspired to cook by my abuelita, who was from El Salvador, and I mean, she could cook. Her and her baby sister, my tia Amada, they were the cooks. They were phenomenal, and just like all the stories of being in the kitchen with them and watching them and learning. But it was always across the board. The most important thing to do when you cook is to cook with love, and that is the
Mm.
recipe that brings it all together. And when, like, just what you said, like, you're feeding people, you're bringing your family together. It's such a beautiful opportunity that if you're lucky enough to have family to cook for, like, what a beautiful gift. And I love that you are translating that into this business that is not just bringing your art and your love and your soul and your entire family history to the table, but it's also bringing mindfulness, wellness, things about food that it's like, okay, I mean, I love butterball turkey, but I'm sure there's a better version of it, right? And there's like we again with the fast food nation that we're in, where it's like, what more like eating smart, eating intentionally. So can you talk about Simpleton and kind of like what you stand for, what you provide, and like how people can find you?
For sure. So Simpleton really goes back to my roots as a person and as an individual. It's all about not complicating things and being grateful for the small things in life.
Yeah.
I think we're around the holiday season, Thanksgiving, you definitely get that messaging a lot. But it's like I have my roots in French cooking, so it really is about taking the ordinary, and your craft and your love is what turns it. It transmutes that into something more than what it was originally. You
Hmm.
know, every recipe is taking raw ingredients, and your care is what transmutes that into something larger than the sum of its parts. And so, simpleton is a term that I got from tarot, which I'm also very big into spirituality in that way. So it's the Fool card. It's all about the journey, taking a leap of faith, and really just exploring the possibilities. And for the business side of things, I kind of translate that into doing a bunch of different pop ups, doing a bunch of different concepts. And it's very by flying by the seat of my pants to a degree of for the artistic side. I'm reaching out to a bunch of different venues to see whether I can do pop up kitchens there, and we connect and work together on a vision. And I get to do improv basically and come
Yeah.
up with a menu, a concept, and really deliver that with them. And that is one side that I really enjoy, as well as presenting a concept right now that I work on, kind of like a long standing series of events called Maja, that's dedicated to my friend who passed away last year. And
Mm.
so that'll be a real personal project where people really get to understand like me and my story and them and what has really touched me on like a deep level, and that connection part of it, and where I can really feel like an artist with what I'm doing, and I can touch people in that way. So
Mm.
that's really beautiful, and I'm excited for those. And then you also have um, Pit Stop, which I'm working on. It is going to be a part of my fitness journey where I do make more herbal elixirs for post runs. I'll be working with 5Ks, 10Ks in the area, and hopefully marathons eventually. I've been very in my running journey, and that ties very much into what I do. But these things are made for recovery and natural electrolytes to help you
Mm.
refuel after your runs, and building more community around fitness and being paying more attention to your body and being grounded in that way. So I'm very excited to blend my running journey and my love of boba and iced tea. That is something I'm definitely excited to roll out. Um, as well as I'll be at a couple markets in December selling holiday cookies. One of my favorite memories from childhood is staying up to the wee hours of the night till my mom gets done making our family recipe for sugar and molasses cookies. And so
Mm.
I'll be making our own custom boxes with special designs from my partner that we'll be working on. And so that'll be a fun project, side quest that we're going to be doing soon as well. And lastly, I think that the uh, private chef and catering aspect of it all, where I get to work with my friend who's a nutritionist, and we get one-on-one coaching with individuals on how to curate their diet to be more healthy and get them more aligned with their health goals. They are a nutritionist and a personal trainer. I, of course, bring my chef knowledge to the system, and we love to work with people and find a solution to improve people's health. And all in all, it's just, yeah, very intuitive talking. We're growing slowly through word of mouth, but you can also find me at simpleton.setmore.com and schedule any of those types of services through that website. And we're going to have a one-on-one call, very personalized to what you need to hear. And I want to get to know you as an individual, because that's really what all this is about.
That's amazing. And that will be in the show description below. I will have that link. That is more than I expected as an answer and so engaging to I'm like, oh my God, how do I book now? So that is so phenomenal because I thought I understood everything you were offering, but that is a lot of amazing things you're doing around this industry and around informing people and helping people to be better versions of themselves, to understand food better, to all of that, and to get out there and make an impact. That is wonderful. So that is going to be in the show description below. So yes, run, don't walk. And after you run, you can have one of his little drinks. But before I let you go, I like to end the show the same way I do every episode. And again, since you've been listening since day one, you're very well aware of what I'm going to ask. So we know that bad news travels fast. If customers got a complaint, the manager's on their way over there. If a customer didn't like this, if they tell the chef this, my server, all complaints. You see it in the Yelp reviews, or they don't say anything and they just put on the Yelp reviews. But very rarely do people go out of their way to share the good news and what went right. So I like to make sure that we share something good. And I want to give you the opportunity to shout out someone in your life, personal, professional, whatever, who has made a tough shift easier for you, and however you interpret the shift to be, that you just want to say thank you to them today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I have to say, it could be a little corny or easy to say it's you, but I think it really meant a lot to come to, because you have to realize, at that time, I had just moved to California. I describe it as a crash landing because I had crashed my car. I felt like I had nothing going on in my life back home. I had just lost my friend to crazy circumstances. They had passed away, and I had been left by a partner in a terrible way. So I was totally down on my luck, and by the time I come to,
Oops, name redacted.
if I
Name
said to
redacted.
myself,
Name redacted.
oh, by the time, by the time I came to that restaurant, I was on my last leg. I was like, if I don't get this job, like I will have to go home. I'll have to find a way to go home because I don't have anything else.
Mm.
And like it was a little rocky from the start, but I think like you were such a grounding force in all of that, because you always, just like this show, you always kept it rolling. You knew the importance of keeping it rolling. And I think that's just something that goes on in show business also, is like, yes, like you have to keep it going. Like no matter how tough it is, how much you feel on the inside, like you are the star, you have to keep it going because everybody is looking at you. And you definitely embodied that, whether there was somebody looking or not. And you took so much pride in everything that you did. And you're like, okay, if Sean can keep it together and make jokes about whatever is going on, like, I just feel that much better about it. And by the time you left, it was like, I was like, I can stand on my own here, and like you definitely had such a huge impact on my life when I was here. I had something to look forward to when I came to work. I had somebody to confide in. I had somebody to lean to, and yeah, I can't. I don't think I really connected with somebody the same way, which is why I had to reach out to you the other day,
Oh,
and I did save your contact of a bunch of people that not countless names. I had 700 plus contacts in my phone that I deleted.
yeah.
So I had to keep yours, and I now only have 170. So that's to
Oh,
give you an
wow.
idea. Yeah.
That's my goal
Exactly.
weight.
So thank you. It was definitely all to you. Yeah.
Well, that was completely unexpected, and thank you. And I'm gonna accept that and say thank you because you were quite a joy, and to me, you were a grounding presence. It was like someone I can count on, someone that I know, and that's the thing. You know, the other day, my partner asked like, "How was work?" Which is always like, "Ooh, don't ask, but it was just like I had my A team. I had my A team, and shit is gonna hit the fan, but it's who you're surrounded by when it does. Like, you know, who can you put in front of you? No, but like, who you can surround yourself. And I had my A team, and we just all had a beautiful shift. And so, thank you for saying that and for thinking of me. Totally not necessary. But I want to go out of my way to just acknowledge your friend and say what a beautiful thing it is to keep someone's memory alive through this tradition that you're starting to be doing a part of your journey to be keeping their memory alive. And that is just absolutely beautiful. It is somehow, I always say, you know, with the holidays, you know, sometimes it's harder because we're grieving that someone's not there, but you can always keep them alive because you can, however they made Christmas special for you, however they made Tuesday special for you, you can then pass that on to the next generation, to your next friend who will feel the impact of this person's life in your heart and not even know where that's coming from. But because it's coming from you, that ripple effect that person will live forever because that love will then continue on and continue on. So I just wanted to give that back to your friend, and thank you for being here. And to the listeners, just remember, tough shifts build character, and character is what brings your story to life. Take care. Oh, wait, not that one, this one. Tough Shift was created and hosted by Sean Patrick Murtaugh. It was recorded on Riverside and distributed with Buzzsprout. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and maybe a comment or two. And remember, tough shifts build character, and character is what brings your story to life.